I know that human being and fish can coexist peacefully.
Hello and welcome to the Spoilt Milk Movie Podcast. Here at Spoilt Milk, we discuss, dissect, and destroy movies, especially guilty pleasures. Then we decide if it's truly spoilt milk or if it's ascended into a fine, luxurious cheese. So without further ado, let's go.
Warning, this podcast is full of spoilers for the title feature and there's bad language from the start. If you've never seen the film or you're offended by bad language, you have been warned.
Hello and Happy New Year. Welcome to another episode of the Spoilt Milk Movie Podcast. Hello, Hobo. How are you?
I didn't like the enthusiasm on that take. Can we go again?
Hello. Katty, how are you as well?
I'm still chewing.
You're still chewing? Okay, then. So, did you have a nice New Year? Looking forward to the 20s?
No.
That sounds creepy the way you say it. Are you looking forward to the 20s? No, Cham, I'm looking forward to people my own age. Thank you very much.
We don't even know what that is.
We don't know what that is.
No, man.
Do you think it's weird that we've known you for as long as we've known you, but we've never celebrated your birthday? Never gone out and been like, oh, it's Hobo's birthday.
I think it's more weird that people, other than me, insist on celebrating my birthday, that people can't get beyond that fact.
I think you just like to do it for being weird. Like just for weird's sake.
No, I don't want to celebrate it. I mean, who even said I had a...
Did you get touched?
Maybe I'm celebrating my birthday this year.
Oh, yeah.
Why might that be the case?
Because you're 40.
Because this year's a leap year.
Oh,
we
right.
go up the 29th.
Is it?
It
I
might
don't
be.
even know.
Is it?
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Have you checked February? How many days in
I'm
February?
checking February now. 31.
What? that confused me for far too long.
I was still in March.
So we're doing something a little different today. Does anyone want to talk about what we're doing?
We are going to take off all our clothes and jump into a bath of oil.
I'll have to take off my vest.
Are you a never nude?
You can keep your vest on.
Yeah, it's like that Tom Jones song or whatever.
You can keep your vest on.
Vest
Oh,
and
you were doing
socks.
little nipple dancing then.
Yeah, because I imagine it's like a string vest, so you can see a lot of everything anyway, but
Yeah.
it's got nipple tassels on.
Right, okay. It's not a string vest.
No.
It does have nipple tassels.
Oh, the nipple
I've
tassels.
just got really long nipples and I swing those on.
like
Slap,
rat
slap.
tails, but they...
Yeah, and they're all hairy like that as well.
Oh,
It's really warm in here.
you're so next to
it's
the
getting-
radiator. If you
oh, it's
wanna-
getting all
I've
hot.
just turned it off.
Okay.
Do you know what I've started doing in
Sweating.
in our car? It does that thing where if you send a text message, it reads it out loud. So now when I know that my wife's driving to work, I try and send her the weirdest message. And I sent her a message about some cream that I found in the fridge that had gone off and said that it smelled like fucking rat nipples. But she was like, it didn't read it out. And I was like, oh, bollocks. Yeah. So I try and put the weirdest things out there and see if it says it to her.
Can you put rat nipples into the old man voice generator that you use?
Oh, yeah, I should do.
Rat nipples!
I've definitely been driving and got your messages before, Katty, and it's just like horrendous. Like a horrible slur of like swearing and nastiness.
I imagine you get a message through and the car goes, I refuse to read this.
Yeah. Oh, it's just like beep, beep. So what we are doing is a lot of people have been doing like a top 10 of last year or a top whatever. We're going to look back over the last technically 19 years and look at all the films made from 2000 onwards. And we've all picked our top 20 of the last 19 years.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
I'm
does it?
quite glad we didn't try and do 20 years and include 99 because there's a lot of good films out in
I made a list
99.
of 15 films from 1999 that would have possibly made it in.
How do you have time to do all of this?
Because I'm always banging on about 1999. So
Are you Prince?
yeah, more fucking will to.
What he does is just he presses pause on the porn and just takes an extra couple of minutes.
But we're going to split this into two because if we're going to talk about 60 films We'll try and rattle through 30 in this episode and then do another 30. We don't need to spend massive amounts of time on them, I don't think.
I'm just going to tell you what they are.
Well, we've got to do it one at a time though, right? You're not just going to rattle through your 20.
Yeah, I'm just going to just read my 20 off and just be like, this is what I like.
Try and do a speed read. Say all 20 of them in 3 seconds.
No.
Ah,
But we've not put them in order though, have we?
I haven't.
Mine are just all over at shop.
Right,
Yeah.
okay then.
Mine's madness.
Right. Would you, if we did include this year, 2020, have you seen anything that you would have put in?
Already?
Mm.
No, I haven't had any time to see any films.
Have you not?
Have you?
Yeah. Saw Uncut Gems last night.
Oh, that's meant to be
Fucking
good.
Brilliant
It's
as well.
coming to Netflix shortly anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen a Netflix film.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, actually.
Is it Long Shot, the one with Seth Rogen in
Yeah,
it?
it's all right, that,
Yeah,
isn't it?
watch that. We're good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
That was theatrically released though, wasn't it, as well?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
About a year ago.
Yeah, so-
It bombed. It properly bombed. Yeah, so it didn't do so well.
Oh, cells.
But no, I liked it. I thought it was really funny.
Okay.
So I thought I'd do like a little roundup of some of the things that have happened over the last 20-ish years, just to say like what you think. So there was a big rise of American like improv comedy in the 2000s, Anchorman, 40-Year-Old Virgin, the Seth Rogen thing and all that. And now they've just disappeared.
I thought you were about life events.
Did you not see my one-man stand-up? Well, what do you think of like the state of comedy in the last 20 years?
I think it has suffered with improv comedy coming in.
Oh, we were discussing this a couple of weeks ago, weren't we? About how things are just a little bit too PC now to be able to actually do a comedy that everyone would enjoy. Like,
Well, that's Todd Phillips' argument, isn't it? He came out, the director of Joker, and said the woke culture has ruined comedy.
because like if you look at, I'm trying to think of a comedy. Like, I can't even think of one. Like American Pie. Like, you wouldn't be able to get away with half of the shit that's in that now.
No, yeah. I mean, it's all, he starts off with him jerking off and his dad walks in. And then, well, what else happens? I can't remember. I do like American
It's about
He looks a pie.
It's about like 4 guys trying to get
Stifler's
laid.
mum was a peed.
Yeah, oh, yeah, she is a peed.
I think they kind of did, because it's about 4 guys trying to get laid, and they kind of did that, a more up-to-date version of that with cock blockers. I think it was just called blockers in certain markets.
But with ladies.
Yeah, and it was just a bunch of parents worried about their teenage daughters trying to bang. I haven't seen it.
It's all right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It looked like a good concept, but is it as risque as American Pie?
It's probably as risque, but then if you're like, well, that's 20 years later,
Yeah.
it probably needs to be a bit more risque.
Oh, are you thinking you need to, we're now desensitized, so
ante.
we need to get into like pissing stuff and...
Possibly.
There's piss in American Pie.
Yeah.
Is there?
Stifler eats a shit
Oh, yeah,
as
there's
well
piss. Oh, yeah.
in American Wedding.
So, how I think it's something is more of a factor. The style of improv comedies, it's kind of a bit. It's my number one peeve at the minute now. Whenever I watch a comedy and they just have a scene where they've just kept in all the stuff that the actors made in and just put it one after the other. It's like, oh no, you're a piece of shit. No, you're a rat's piece of shit. No, you're a teabag anus piece of
That is good.
I mean, I like that.
the scenes go on
Teabag
far
anus.
too long,
Yeah.
and generally, if you notice, like older comedies, like for example, Ghostbusters, which we went to see at the Sneaky Experience, that was a comedy film. It allowed bits of improv, but the comedy was still built around the main theme and the characters. It made sense to each of the characters rather than just everyone trying to be as funny as possible and one-upping each other. And it just seemed more seamless as a film than a lot of comedies I've watched now. I find it really hard to watch a lot of comedies.
All right, Humor Hitler.
No, but still some. I mean,
try them.
I've purposely kept in some films that I really love because they are funny, but there's much less of them than I would have liked, to be honest.
I don't think I've got a comedy in my 20
I've
at
got-
all, or nothing that's outright comedy. Maybe.
I've got a couple.
Yeah. But I think comedy's suffered badly in the last, say, 10 years. You were talking about Long Shot. Like, Long Shot, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's worth a watch. But I wouldn't go out and say to anyone, go and watch Long Shot. It's fucking hilarious. I can't remember the last film. Booksmart was good, if you saw that.
No.
Nobody did.
But I'm surprised if you haven't got any comedies from the past 20 years,
Yeah.
I think there's some that it makes me feel better that mine aren't going to be on your list.
Superbad nearly made my list. That was close.
No.
No.
I like it. I really like it, but it's not. It's not in the same league as some comedies I like. So what else happened?
So we got a rise of superheroes. So superheroes, you look back to like the early 2000s and you had all the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films. And you think that over 20 years it might have died out, but Avengers Endgame has just become the most successful film of all time.
Of all time.
Of all time, yeah. Are you happy with that?
I've not even seen it.
Have you not? Have you seen any of the Marvel films?
Yeah. I've not.
Chode, man.
I've seen all of the X-Men's.
Oh yeah.
I watched Logan for the first time over Christmas.
That's not on my list. I fucking love Logan.
You've got a fucking poster of
Yeah,
that.
as well.
I've not seen Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, I think you'd like that one as well.
I started watching it and I was like, why has Thor got an eye patch? And couldn't figure it out. And
I thought you were going to say iPad. I was like, what am I missing?
Tim came downstairs and he's like, turn this off. You've not seen the one before. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I've seen Aquaman, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's a babe.
I love that you say obviously. Like, that's the one that everyone's seen.
No one's got Aquaman in their top 20, have they?
No.
Good, because that's...
No one in the world.
No
even Jason Momoa.
I enjoyed Aquaman.
How many people have any sort of, and it doesn't need to be Marvel or DC, any sort of superhero property? Like, you don't need to name what it is, but...
I've got two.
Okay, I think I've got two.
I think ours might be the same. Or very similar.
I think one might be the same. I don't think the other will be.
One of mine is kind of super... Two of mine are kind of superhero.
Is yours Super with Rainn Wilson?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
I've just got that written down 20 times.
So we had the superheroes 3D kind of came back.
And then fucked off.
Yeah, and then fucked off. Although I went to see a 4DX film the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Did it shoot water at you?
Fucking hell. I've never seen a 4DX film before. And it was quite nice as well because I went with my brother and my friend Neil. And we all three of us went to see Phantom Menace together 20 years ago, so in 1999. And it was nice to...
All right, Prince.
No, but I haven't been to the cinema with like Neil in years, but we all went back to watch the new Star Wars. And I was expecting 4DX to be like, you know, like when you hold is it a rumble pack on the N64? Yeah. That's my last kind of experience of it. That it'd go like when you shoot someone on GoldenEye. It proper chucks you about. Like I was rattling around like a fucking idiot. And then it's got little things that blow air on your neck. So every time a laser shot, it was like, and I was like, oh, and then it sprays water on you.
You can turn that bit off, though, can't you?
Yeah, I quite liked that though, because in Star Wars,
because you're sweaty.
Yeah. In Star Wars, there's the water fight bit. So every time a wave came over, it sprayed water, and that was quite funny. The best part was the strobes.
Apparently, so 4DX doesn't have the smell, does it?
Yeah, it had the smell. It does.
Yeah. So I think when one of the Transformers movies came out, people were starting getting sick because there was so much like burning rubber smell that they had that people got nauseous from it.
I got a bit nauseous just sat there and being chucked around. I didn't quite like it.
You weren't like an old man that weren't
3D.
enjoying it. Like, oh, I just want to watch it.
I wouldn't go and see a film on 4DX for the first time. I'd only go and see something if I was seeing it again.
Yeah.
So it was completely distracting. But I felt sick coming off the SpongeBob 4D ride when he was like, pickles, and sprayed pickle juice in my face.
Did anyone go on the Bugs Life, I want to say, ride that they have in... Bugs Life isn't Disney, is it?
Pixar.
I think it was in Florida. Well, we had a Bugs Life one, and it was a bit
I've never been to Florida.
Well, it's either Florida or Paris. And it was one of those things where it's like a screen, but it's a bit like 4DX back ages ago before they had... Because I think I must have been like 10 or 12 or something. And
get Googling when the Bugs Life ride were out.
I can't remember what else happened, but I remember one thing. You'd sit down and there'd be bugs that came on screen and they're like, oh no, hornets. And then this rod stabbed you in the back, like hard, so much that kid me was like, I don't want to sit down, and I spent the rest of the time leaning away from it because it just went.
This felt like someone was booting you in the back, though. I thought someone was kicking my chest. But yeah,
keep turning around and have a go at this like 5-year-old.
So are you happy 3D's going?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck off.
It bugs my... I have got to wear 2 pairs of glasses.
Oh, fucking hell. Like a super dog. Can you wear contacts?
I don't need to wear glasses that often to warrant contact lenses.
Can you get one day Aki do?
I think 3D can be good, but it needs to be like quite purposeful. It needs to be designed. What happened is Avatar, was built around it, and you can say what you want about Avatar, but the worst I'm seeing in that, because it was built around it, it really immersed you more than anything. And ever since then, the reason it died out is because everyone just did a half-assed implementation. And after a year or so, people started trying to make them better, and there were some standouts still, but generally it wasn't built for it. And I think there's still a purpose for 3D. It just doesn't need to be everything, just like 4DX doesn't need to be. You wouldn't have 4DX on
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, you would. But you won't have it on like Midsommar or like The Lighthouse.
Yeah. I haven't seen either of them, but I know the tone of those. Yeah. So I think it just needs to be. You need to implement it in the right ways, but that's not how you get cinemas to adopt it. Otherwise, there's not going to be anywhere to watch it.
So the two sides of the coin of comedy and horror, as comedy seemed to take a dip post like 2010, horror seems to have had a bit of a resurgence with even like the Conjuring universe or Left Behind, all that torture porn stuff. Do you like all that, like Hostel and...
I mean, I enjoyed the first Hostel and I enjoyed the first Saw. That's about it. Like, I think because it was like a new kind of concept. It was like, all right, this is pretty interesting, but then it just got fucking ridiculous. Like, especially at second Hostel when like the people just got fucking stupid.
Hostel. I like the way you said that as well. Hostel. Yeah, and then we've had like a bit of a rise. You wouldn't agree there, would you, with that kind of stuff about good horror of late?
I mean... I can't fucking remember its name.
Hereditary.
Hereditary. I'm going to say Renaissance.
I agree. We have had a rise of more people taking horror more seriously.
Get Out and
all.
Us.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't think... I am much more picky about my horrors just because I really do like proper horror. That's why I like Haunted Hill House so much. I watch that endlessly, but I just think so much horror isn't done to a decent degree. It relies too much on the horror
jump
aspect.
Scares.
Yeah. Then but I do
most
agree
horrors
we had a
drivel. And then the final point that I was going to make was about the over-reliance of sequels, franchises, and remakes, and what you think about that.
I don't know. Like, sometimes it works, like The Conjuring and like that universe and stuff. Yeah, I'm all right with that. I can't think of a shit one. Fast and Furious.
Yeah, but there doesn't need to be. Is there like 9 Fast and Furious films?
Know.
Yeah.
9. How many film franchises have 9 films in them?
Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. And I would not
James
put
Bond.
I wouldn't put Fast and the Furious in the same bracket as like a Star Wars. And even though I fucking hate it, even James Bond, like there's no need. Just do a different thing. Well, I looked through the top 10 films of the last 3 years. And I think there was 3 original properties out of all of them. The rest was all, I mean, it's mainly like Marvel, Star Wars, Disney remakes.
If Disney can kiss my ass. I was going to say.
I liked how long you took to say that, and then was just ass.
Yeah, I was gonna say the C word, but
I'm just looking over how many of mine are like sequels or. I mean, I don't know how many are necessarily based on a book, but I don't think I have any sequels. I don't have any like remakes.
I've definitely got like franchise in there, like elements of a. Well, shall we start then?
Oh.
This is a break from the podcast. This isn't fake, it is real. Grab a biscuit, a Kit Kat, or toffee, maybe samosa.
Shall we start on that then? Who wants to go first and put out their first
I'll go.
suggestion?
I'll go first. Like mine are in no specific order. Like, this is like the last one on my list, and it's not even in chronological order.
Right, that's all right.
So are we starting from 20? Or
Yeah. Well, if you don't have an order, just pick out the.
I mean,
well, just cross off whichever ones you want to.
All right, I'll start from 1 because it's going to be easier. Isle of Dogs.
I fucking
nice.
love Isle of Dogs.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm just double checking that that was close to being on my top 20. I loved Isle of Dogs.
I think I prefer Fantastic Mr. Fox though.
Fuck off.
What? Why?
Fuck off.
What? Do you not like Fantastic Mr. Fox?
I do, but it's not as good as Isle of Dogs.
If it's not far off. It's not warrant of a fuck off.
Fantastic Mr. Fox was the first one I wrote down, and then when I wrote it down, I was like, Isle of Dogs. So I don't know which I like more.
Isle of Dogs.
Oh no, I can't.
I do like Isle of Dogs. I think it's great. I just prefer Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Well, you're wrong.
What, didn't he get into like loads of shit about it, Wes Anderson, for being like racist or something? Yeah.
I mean, some people fucking snowflakes, innit?
Yeah.
Like,
all right, Todd Phillips.
well, it is like people just see.
Okay, boomer.
I will glass you with your own glass.
You just use the term snowflakes. I get to use okay, boomer.
Oh, are you classing yourself as a snowflake?
No, I don't know. They're just both ridiculous terms, so if one's being used.
Well, it's not really, because people get offended about, let's not rope everyone into the same brush here, but some people just get offended for the sake of getting offended.
Yeah,
it's like it's like they go out and look for something in something to be annoyed about.
Have you seen any of Dave Chappelle's latest stand-up?
Yeah.
He just doesn't give a fuck anymore, does
No.
he? He is like so offensive. And I was watching it and like even I felt like a bit uncomfortable at how like not PC it all is. But I just fucking loved it. And I didn't think I'd ever like Dave Chappelle as a stand-up. I hate him in fucking Con Air.
What was he saying? Oh, what? Everyone
I don't
in Con
really
Air is
like
amazing.
Con Air.
What
Why-
year did Con Air come out?
That's definitely 90s.
Oh,
It's got to be, right?
Phew,
Why do we even do a podcast with you?
I don't know. Because that's the fun part, talking about these things.
Everything, podcast, film, TV series, it needs an antagonist. I think.
What? Because I don't like Con Air? Oh, mate.
And you like Hereditary.
But I told you about, like, I loved Con Air and, like, absolutely buzzed off it and got a cardboard cutout in my bedroom. Like, so I loved it at the time, and it had Nick Cage in his vest on and everything. My mate reminded me, it was Neil again, the other day about going to the video shop and, like, going to get a film and it having an elastic band on and being like, oh, fuck, I can't have it.
Why?
Why?
Because that, like, meant someone had, like, reserved it or whatever. Did they not do that at yours?
No, they just took it off the shelf.
Right, okay then. No, they took it off the shelf. Yeah, I don't know. I think because they'd rented it, so you still had it there to show Con Air's out, but they just put a laggy band.
I think
on
that's someone being lazy. They don't want to take it off and put it back on, so I just like, I'll leave it on. But
yeah,
for anyone who knows, it means it's rented out. But for most people who go to normal video stores, they'll come up and bring this elastic band covered one.
But do you remember the idea of being like, oh, I'm going to go and rent Con Air this weekend, and like walking to the video shop and turn up and being like, oh, fuck, I can't.
Yeah.
It's not there.
I remember
it's
that
gone.
yeah.
And being like, or ringing up and being like, can you reserve me one? And being like, they're all reserved. And being like, oh, I can't watch that then. It's fucking insane.
It was a struggle. If you wanted to watch a popular movie when
you can't say porn.
Oh, no, they always have plenty of porn.
Yeah. Famous Tits and Arses was one that they had at our local video shop, and me and my brother always buzzed off it. Like, famous tits. Like, the person's not famous. Like, what, have you never heard of those tits before?
Oh, I recognise those tits anyway. I'll recognise those tits in 10 years.
Am I just doing one, or am I going through?
Yeah, I reckon so. If you do one, Hobo does one, or I'll do one. It's up to you.
Do you want me to go?
It's up to you.
I'll go with, and again, not in any order, because I wrote down a massive list.
How can you even tell?
Are you going to tick them off?
I should probably tick them off.
You've got like the scrawlings of a madman, and then you've gone through and looped them like it's some kind of word search.
So I wrote down everyone I can think of, and I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss any. So I had loads to pick from that I knew I loved, and then I knew I'd narrow it down. And this isn't even it. Like
I found this so easy to just pick 20. I was like, 20. Oh, done.
I found them certain very easy. Like once I'd written, but I needed to write them down once so I could just keep them there so I didn't forget them. And every time because I went through this list a couple of times, like I wrote this down, I took it onto my phone and narrowed it down more, and then I brought it back and narrowed it down more, sort of thing. But some were just like, I can't not have that. And there's a solid like 5 to 10 where I just wouldn't even consider not having them.
Right.
And then the others, I was like, oh, but they're so I'm very bad with making choices.
Are those ones going to be the last ones you talk about?
No, because I've just done a Mad Men looping, so they're not in any particular order.
So what's your first one?
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh yeah, Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr.
Val Kilmer, is
2005, so it was before his... Because Iron Man was 2008, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I wanted to have Iron Man on my list, but it didn't even make it into the doodah.
The short list.
Yeah.
Didn't even make it into that A3 sheet you've got.
And it's just a great... I think it's based on a book, and it's a great, like, modern noir. It's like a private detective just trying to
love a noir, don't you?
I fucking do. And, like, not just the classic. If anything, I'm more impressed with the modern noirs. I'm more impressed with the sort of modern noirs, how they, every time I watch one, I very quickly click on. So maybe I've seen the trailer or I've something like that, and I've not known it's a noir until I've gone into it. I'm like, this is clearly inspired by like Maltese Falcon and stuff like that.
Never seen that.
And yeah, it's just a nice. It's fun. It's one of my comedies on the list, and it was just a comedy that I knew I had, and it really got me to love filmmaking because of how they managed to weave the story. I think I've said on the podcast before, I'm a big sucker for anything that like either is like manipulates time in some way or is a dream sequence, stuff like that. And I think the crux of that is it's a good sort of way of telling a story. Normally, if someone's manipulating time or it's a dream sequence, it's a good way of not just being very linear and like, oh, I did this, I did it. It's a very good way to interpret it. And the more sensible version of that is just a story that's well weaved. I
think you're going to explain yours in a much more succinct way than like me and Katty.
I'm just going to say
that's good.
Yeah, I like it.
That was so nice. That was beautiful. I wanted you to keep going. That it's like a bit of a bickery film, isn't it? Like Shane Black does very good kind of two men bickering at each other. Do you like the other guys?
There's the straight man, which ironically enough is played by
a gay man.
Well, it's played by Val Kilmer, who is a gay man.
Val Kilmer.
Yeah. He's a gay man in this, but he's the straight man compared to Robert Downey Jr. He's like a ex-con that has fallen into this situation. And he's just a bit all over the place. He doesn't know what he's doing. And he's been sort of mentored / So even though I think Robert Downey Jr. is the main character, he's kind of like sidekicking Val Kilmer, who is the main detective of this. So Val Kilmer knows everything. And he's just been like, you're a fucking idiot. Get out of my way sort of thing. And it's a good, I love it.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm going for, I just thought because we might have to like, I'm just thinking, this is probably going to take longer than I thought at the beginning when I was like, we'll go through our 60 films. I was like, fuck. And this was my idea as well. My first one on my list is Donnie Darko. Okay. I've not seen it since like time. It must be about 10 years. Saw it in 2001 when it came out. Again, I'm quite a sucker for time loops, those kinds of things. And so have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's on my list. So
no, wait,
that's already going to save us time.
On your bigger list?
No, on my...
In your list?
On your circled list.
Yeah, it's on my circled list.
I never knew you liked it.
I fucking love Donnie Darko.
Is it still... Have you seen it recently?
I haven't seen it in about maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and that's probably the longest I've gone without watching it.
Yeah.
It was my jam for when it came out. I remember I saw it on Jonathan Ross's like film 2000 or something. I saw the trailer And it was a limited release, so I couldn't get out to cinema. I was like, that looks amazing. And when I finally got to get it on DVD, I watched it so often. I just, everything
and
about
there's
that
an
film.
uncut version or something as well that adds even more in. But I'm not a big fan. But that guy made it, Richard Kelly, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Just fucking did shit all after, didn't he?
He did
It peaked.
Southland Tales,
yeah.
and then The Box. I imagine you like The Box.
I don't think I've seen The Box.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I know it's got that like tall, like shaved white haired dude is
Frank Langella,
yeah.
And Cameron Diaz. And
Skeletor.
because you like all those kind of like big concept, like here's a box, if you press it, someone dies, but you'll get money. I feel like you like those kind of like...
That's my life.
No, but you know, it's like it could almost be a section in Tales from the Crypt or something like that. I absolutely love Donnie Darko. I think everyone's great in it. I love how you can watch it and feel miserable and joyous at the same time, and it's got a great soundtrack, and I love the rabbit character, and it inspired the short film that we made as well. So that's my first one.
Sweet. I'm just going to go from 2 to 5 now.
What do you mean? Oh, you're
I'm just
going
going to
to...
read them off.
Oh, right. Okay, then.
Is this because I like things that manipulate with the order of things? So,
No, I just think if we're doing 1 to 10, it's going to take fucking forever.
Yeah, that's a good idea then. Yeah, go to 2 to 5.
So 2 to 5, got Ginger Snaps.
Oh, nice.
Hotel Transylvania.
What?
Yeah.
The Adam Sandler comedy thing.
Fucking love it.
It's one of your
you
20
kidding
best
me?
films of the
Yeah,
last
love it.
2 decades.
Love it.
Why?
I don't know. I just quite like it. And the whole...
I have seen it as well. But don't Andy Samberg's character just annoy you, isn't it?
No,
Fucking hate
I
you.
enjoy it.
Oh, what was the one you said before? Ginger Snaps.
Ginger Snaps.
Have you seen like all of the
All 3 of them.
all the snaps? I went to see Ginger Snaps in New York a couple of times ago. They did like a screening. And I was like, yeah, let's go and see this, and watched it and loved it.
I've met Catherine Isabel.
Is that the
ginger
dark
bird.
hair? Oh, really? Was she nice?
She's lovely.
Oh, what? How did you meet her?
I'd Park Picture House.
Oh, what? And were they doing like a screening?
Not a Ginger Snaps of a film called American Mary.
Any good?
Yeah, it's all right.
In year 20?
Nope.
Yeah, so carry on.
Tusk.
Oh, what, the Kevin Smith?
Yeah.
I hate that fucking film.
I like
love
Tusk.
it.
I really like
Weird
Tusk.
skin walrus, man. It's great.
Do you prefer that over Red State? Red State? Red State?
Red State. Yeah.
Red State?
Yeah.
Not Red State.
Red State.
Right, okay.
Red State, as in Redden State.
Yeah.
I you made me realise I don't have any Kevin Smith on my list.
Oh, man.
And I
don't know. Have you seen Jane Silent Bob reboot?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Don't spoil it.
Oh, well, no, I've not watched it. I put it on the other night and watched about the first 10 minutes. And I was like, this is fucking horrible. Like, it's not funny. And Jay looks like a fucking horrible old man who's done loads of heroin. Well, that's what he is.
Yeah.
But it was really, I felt sad watching it. I was like, oh, you're a couple of guys in your like late 40s telling really bad dick jokes. And I was like, this isn't good anymore.
Well, it sounds like my sort of comedy.
Yeah, you'll love it.
And the 5th one is Machete.
Oh, no, I've never seen Machete.
Oh, mate.
Yeah. Is it good?
It's great.
Is Lady Gaga in that?
Gaga. I don't think Lady Gaga. Lindsay Lohan's in it.
Oh, yeah. Is that got someone with a gun for a leg, or is that
No,
just Planet Terror?
that's just Planet Terror.
Oh, right, okay.
Machete were one of the trailers in between.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Machete.
How else am I supposed to say
I missed you.
I was
Machete.
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 Have you seen it?
No,
Machete?
no.
Oh, it's
I've
great.
seen, what was it? No, I don't think I saw...
Oh, fuck, I forgot about Oboe with a shotgun.
Oh.
Are you going to kick anything out from
No.
Six Down? Is that not going to replace fucking Hotel Transylvania?
No.
I can't read your writing.
You're saying I write like...
No, you covered
I
it.
write
I was
like
I can't
spider
see
webs.
it. I can't see it from over here.
I fucking love Hotel Transylvania.
That is probably... I don't think anything's going to top there on the list. I did
I
not
don't know.
expect.
no.
I was going to say, Katty, did you get 12 at first?
Yeah.
And then you had to squeeze it 8.
So
If you're like Hotel Transylvania 2, like, I'm going to be fine.
So I was telling Hobo earlier on, like, I did the first 12 and then I was like, right, I need to get the rest of them. Let's sit down and concentrate. And then I just rattled off a load because I've not really done any research into it. It's just been like films that I can remember and that just stick out to me.
So and that generally would be films you've watched more than once. You watched a couple of times, and that's like largely how my list was determined as well. But there may be films that I think are technically better in some way, or I like what they did for cinema as a whole, but the ones that I'll keep coming back and watching. So if that's Hotel Transylvania for you.
So you've had dogs and 2 appearances of werewolves so far. Have you done 5? I don't think I've got any werewolves in my films.
There's some other
Just
stuff.
a shame. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 to 5.
Monster Squad.
I need to do 2 to 5?
Yeah.
2 to 5.
Okay.
Just pick another random 4.
So another random 4, because I don't have numbers next to mine. So
yeah. I've got a fucking Excel spreadsheet. What a dog.
Well, fucking dweeb.
One of mine has already been taken, Donnie Darko. So
Okay.
that's my 2. The next one I'll say is Garden State.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
Would
the
you not say
Zach Braff one?
Garden State?
Garden State? What did I say?
Garden State? I'll stop that.
Garden State.
Garden State?
Some people fucking hate Garden State.
I love it. I thought it was a really nice, sort of a very personal story that you can tell. And yeah.
And you don't think it's too quirky?
No, I like all the quirky moments that they don't feel put in for any particular reason. They're just, I think it seemed pretty sort of natural to him. So while it's maybe a bit too quirky for some people, it was kind of just, how his brain was working at the time and stuff like that. So,
and that's when you say he, you mean Jimmy Savile?
What?
It's Jimmy Savile's life story, right?
No. Zach Braff's. The next one is Spotlight.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the film about...
The pedo film.
Yeah. Uncovering the dirty boy raping priests. And it was the Boston Herald, I want to say. The Boston Herald that were like researching this for like a good amount. They were researching it like before 9/11 and they're about to go out and then 9/11 happened. We got put on the back burner and it's just for a film that should be boring. It's largely about researching abuse. It's just really well done, and I think all the actors in it. It's got Mark Ruffalo in it. It's got
Michael Keaton.
And it's really well acted. It really is a film that just it's got a strong story, but it gets out of the way to let them sort of push these emotions through. So that's 2.
Saw that on a plane. Can't massively remember it.
With some snakes.
Yeah. Is that on your fucking list?
I watch it every year.
Do you?
Yeah, I really do.
Reward, repeat viewings.
Look at him moving his fringe out of his face.
I'll also go for... Oh man, I want ones to rattle off. Get Out.
Get Out's in my list. Oh, or is it? Or did it get bumped? No, it's in my list.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Great. Amazing horror. That is everything that I want from a horror. It manages to weave a nice story. It has scares in it. It has that feeling of dread, which is just such an important part. It's not just about jump scaring you. It's about really bringing you in and putting you in that and being like, oh, fuck, that is scary as fuck.
How are you the one that's talking the most today? Me and Cham are just like, films? Film name? Film?
And it's also funny as well.
It was nominated for comedy and musical.
It shouldn't be
at the Globes.
It shouldn't be funny number 1. It was like it was a horror that had like funny in the way that it's a human element to it. That's all the comedy's there for, to make it a bit more like, this is how maybe some people might deal with it. They might chuck in a one-line.
It's such a good film, isn't it? And
Ridiculous.
it did take me a couple of goes. I remember people saying how good it was, and I saw it and was like, yeah, that's good. And then it took time, and now I'm like, yeah, it's one of the 20 best films I think of the last 20 years.
Not Hotel Transylvania.
I liked the way that you're like, I like all the or whatever. Like we should, like we're going to be like, oh yeah,
it's not about Dracula.
God knows.
And he's like, I want to circle it.
Just to let you know, Hotel Transylvania, not on my list. Never was on my list. Will never be on my list.
No.
You're fucking missing out, man.
And then I've got Stay. Have you seen Stay?
No, is it by 17?
What?
Never mind.
Shakespeare's Sisters?
Yeah, nice.
What?
They're just songs.
This is lost on me. Oh, it's got Ryan Gosling in it. It's got Naomi. I've forgotten her last name.
Campbell?
No.
Harris.
No. Blonde Naomi. And it's got Obi-Wan Ewan McGregor. He's got Ewan McGregor in it, and it's about Ewan McGregor, who's like a therapist dealing with this kid who's got trouble, and it's a time manipulation one. It's not.
I've never even heard of it. Ryan Reynolds,
amazing.
Ryan Gosling.
I almost didn't watch it because it looked very
shit,
cheesy and American looking in it from like some of the trailers, and especially when it started out, I was like, oh, this isn't going to be good, but I fucking love it. I watch it so often. I won't say anything more. I'd recommend watching it. Do
you mean the lady who's in like Mulholland Drive and she's in like The Impossible, the Australian actor, blonde hair?
No, unless I'm remembering it wrong. Let me look it up now.
But yeah, I've never heard of that before.
No,
it's a great movie.
How old is it?
2005.
Oh, so is that like pre The Notebook? In fact, I don't know when The Notebook
I don't know when. I have never seen The Notebook.
Have you not?
And
neither have I.
Yeah, I don't think I want to.
Pretty decent.
I watched Bridget Jones's Diary for the first time of the day.
Did you enjoy it?
It were all right.
Yeah? I can't really remember it. I remember thinking.
Naomi Watts?
Yeah. So, the Australian lady.
Yeah. Oh, did you say Watts? Oh, okay.
No, I didn't. I forgot her name.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Stay, never heard of that.
No. Sounds dog wank.
Is that my... Have I gone through all how many...
I think so.
What were they again?
So...
You did Get Out, Stay...
Yeah. Spotlight, Garden State...
And Hotel Transylvania 2.
No. So I've done 1, 2, 3,
Hotel
4,
Transylvania
5,
3, you did.
6, 7. I've gone through 7.
What?
You've gone through 5.
Oh, no. I've Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah.
Donnie Darko.
You didn't say anything about Donnie Darko.
No, I said it was...
Yeah.
So that I'm carrying that as one.
Okay.
Get Out, Garden State, Spotlight, Stay.
Right, so you've done 6.
Oh, okay. Do I need to do... How many have you done?
It's
5.
fine. I've done 5.
Oh,
Right,
okay. I didn't realize.
It's just because Donnie Darko were one on your list.
Yeah.
Well, I did do mine in order. So 20 was Donnie Darko at 19, Paddington 2.
Oh, fuck. And you're mocking me for Hotel Transylvania.
I knew this was going to be on it. Just
of course.
The way you talked about it on the other podcast. If you could marry this film, it seems like you would.
But it's at 19. It's not like up there. But it just fills my heart with so much joy, this film. I've only ever seen it once, so I'm a bit worried about watching it again. It's a sequel. So I've got a sequel in there. I do think it far surpasses the first one. It's just, again, utterly charming, beautiful. I think I've spoke about it enough on this podcast.
Is it the second one with a robber?
Hugh Grant?
Hugh Grant robber. Yeah, me and Richie watched it recently. Yeah, we're all right.
Yay!
Have you seen the first one?
No.
Oh, okay.
The first one's all right.
First one's boring.
No.
It's such a standard kids film.
Yeah, the second one's lovely though, and it's got Thingy on fine form as well. Brendan Gleeson as Knuckles.
Oh, I like Knuckles.
And did you like it when they washed all their prison uniforms and they all went pink?
Yeah. I enjoyed how they started making cakes and they turned prison right twee.
Yeah, because he's going to like kill him and then he just sticks a marmalade sandwich in his mouth and that changes him. Yeah. So I think we should do that with more murderers.
Just put marmalade in the mouth.
At 18, Dead Man's Shoes.
Oh, I had Dead Man's Shoes on my list.
Nice. Okay, so we both got that one then. I had to have some Shane Meadows in there.
It's not on my list now, but it was.
Right, okay, then. It got trumped by Hotel Transylvania.
No, it got trumped by... I'll tell you later.
All right, okay then.
This is what I was exactly worried about. I fucking love Dead Man's Shoes.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I haven't watched it in a long time.
I went to it at Aberdale Picture House in Sheffield recently. They did a double screening of that and Four Lions, and Four Lions didn't hold up.
Really?
No. Well, not for me anyway. I watched it again and was like, this isn't actually very funny, and it's really badly paced. But Dead Man's Shoes was fucking quality again. And Toby Kebbell is in a lot of shit, but he's fucking brilliant in that. Like, his performance as a person with...
learning difficulties?
I don't know exactly.
Is he autistic?
Yeah, he must be, but like heavily autistic. 17 was Get Out, you've already mentioned. 16, The Village, Katty, moving on to yours.
What are you trying to pass over The Village?
Yeah.
We all know that you love The Village.
It had to be in there. And I know it's not good.
I enjoyed it.
But I love it. And like, again, I watch it every year, every autumn, put it on, watch it.
It's shot well. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, and the soundtrack's great. And yeah, some of the acting in it is really good. So I just love it.
Should we take a break and then do the rest?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Taking your pod. No, you're not. You will not be taking our pod today, sir.
Welcome back. We are going to continue our list. Katty's going to kick us off with your next 5.
5.
Right. Here we go.
Why are you laughing when you say kick us off?
Because I'm just looking at my list of what's to come. And you're going to have some questions. So the first one's pretty normal.
Okay.
And 28 days later.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That was in my bigger list, but
I just enjoyed it. Malibu.
What do you think of, before you go on to Malibu, Ken, or whatever, what did you think of 28 weeks later?
I thought that were a bit shit.
Yeah. Have you heard that they're thinking about doing another?
Like in 28 months later or something.
Knows. It makes sense that would be it.
I mean, why don't we just do 28 years later and just make another film that's not related to it?
Yeah.
Zombies in space.
Or 28 days before and it'd just be a normal film. Nothing to do with zombies.
It'd just be like the life and times of someone.
Killing Murphy.
Weren't he like a bicycle messenger or something in London?
Oh, God, yeah, I don't know.
So it'd end with him being like, knocked off and being okay. How did we say how long he's in the coma for?
I don't think so.
Probably 28 days, though.
Maybe.
So it starts with him being knocked off and then he's just in a coma for like an hour.
Could be like 28 hours. And then 28 days.
But I might be sounding stupid here. He is in a coma for 28 days, isn't he? Are they saying that the 28 days later what's happened while he's been in the coma?
No, I thought the 28 days were...
the whole film?
I thought the 28 days were like from when he wakes up to when they get rescued.
Because I didn't know if it was like from the point of the virus breaking out to... probably not. I've not really thought about it. We should probably all know what the 28 days is like, definitely. I feel like you feel like that's right.
I think that's right.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, well,
maybe.
Because if 28 weeks later is meant to be 28 weeks from when the
outbreak happened,
then Also, it would be 28 days from when that monkey got out of the cage, the rage-infected monkey.
I thought it was 28 days from when he woke up from his coma to when they got rescued.
Oh, God knows. We should know this, shouldn't we?
Should we Google it?
It's not massively clear in the film because I watched it again recently. I could not get a good illegal copy of that. How outrageous is that?
Do you not own it on Dooved?
I don't have DVDs.
Did you get?
I don't have a DVD player.
I've still got all mine so I'll find something online because I can't bother to get my DVDs out. But I'm not getting rid of my DVDs. There's special features on there that you just don't get.
I had like about 700, I think, and it just got unruly. So I was like, I'm getting rid of all of them. I've got my Lord of the Rings special editions still, and that's it. Everything else is gone.
So is 28 Days Later a film you do rewatch regularly? And
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it's not even fucking telling me as a Google search right now.
If anyone listens and wants to
no, so it is from when the monkey gets set free to him awakening from his bicycle related injury.
Oh, right, okay then. But we don't know how long he's in it, though.
Yeah,
are we taking it that he's
out of it for like 2 days?
But I'm guessing if it took over quite quickly, we probably just need to do a podcast on this film.
It doesn't say how long he's been in a coma for. It just says late one night, animal rights activists free a face-eating chimp. And then 28 days later, a bicycle courier named Jim.
Bicentennial man.
I've just realised, is this film subtly anti-animal rights? Is it trying to blame...
Keep them in cages.
Keep them in cages. Let us burn coal.
What are your next films? Sorry.
Malibu's Most Wanted.
What?
So I've not even written down when it came out. So you've got it's based in probably about 2000 2006, maybe 2005.
Right.
So Malibu, the like senator, his son is like the whitest of white men,
Right.
and he thinks he is gangster as fuck.
Right.
Like him and his like rich white kid mates. Oh no, not all of them are white. One of them's Asian and one of them's black. Yeah, 2003. Sorry.
Wow. Oh, Jamie Kennedy.
And his dad's trying to win some sort of like vote, and he calls him, his name's Brad, but he calls himself B-Rad.
Of course.
And he tries to do some raps and stuff at like some of like the celebrations and stuff that his dad has. So what they try and do is hire some gangsters to like kidnap him. And then like rough him up a little bit so he don't want to be a gangster anymore. But what actually happens is the actors that get hired don't kidnap him. Some actual gangsters kidnap him.
Of course, mistaken identity type thing.
And
Switcheroo.
he thinks that it's all like a setup. And then it just goes a little bit crazy and turns out that he is just right, G.
He's right, G. Nobody's even heard of this.
Yeah, what the hell?
I didn't even know
It's got
Jamie
Tay
Kennedy.
Diggs in it.
Of course, it's got Tay Diggs in it.
This is amazing.
Well, how did you watch that? How did you find it? Did someone tell you about it?
I used to work in CEX, didn't I?
It's got Cal Penn
God.
in it from Harold and Kumar.
Oh, right. Okay. That's not a stamp of quality, though.
Yeah, it is.
Name 5 good Cal Penn films that don't have Harold or Kumar in the title.
He's good in House. It's not
Moving
film.
on.
It's got Jeffrey Tambor.
Oh, yeah.
That guy. Oh, man. We need to do this film.
Yeah.
It feels a lot like, is it like on the same level as maybe Good Burger?
Or Basketball. That kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it's tongue-in-cheek ridiculousness.
Right.
It's great.
Maybe we do need to do
I just
that.
realised, when did Good Burger and Basketball come out? Should they be on my list? Because I fucking love those films.
Oh, my God.
So, Malibu's most wanted. Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Is that the new one? this
Yeah.
year? I've not seen it.
Oh.
I really enjoyed it.
Did you get to the cinema?
No, I watched it on Now TV.
Oh, yeah. And did you prefer that to the other Godzilla one from 2014 or whatever?
Yeah, because this one, there were more like fighting and stuff in it, and I like the big monsters.
I must say,
I've not seen it.
that is one of the times where the trailer just, it's probably one of the best trailers. Looking at the trailer for that film looked amazing. I didn't get to see it in the cinema, and I really wanted to.
Yeah, me too.
I love the first one. It was by Gareth Edwards, the first one. I don't know who directed the sequel, though. I don't think it was him again.
I don't know.
But it looked amazing. So
I really enjoyed it. The monsters were right good as well.
I'm happy.
Oh, nice.
And I'm going to watch
I'll
that
have to
then.
watch that on your recommendation.
Do it.
Although you did just fucking recommend B-Rad's Day Out or whatever it was.
Malibu's Most Wanted.
Malibu's Most Wanted.
But it should be called B-Rad's Day Out.
A sequel to Baby's Day Out. Maybe that's what happened to the baby when it grew up.
Possibly gross.
Grew up, I know. I tried to brush over that.
Next one is Dog Soldiers.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, yeah, we did that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh, well, if you want to hear our opinions on Dog Soldiers, go back to our Dog Soldiers episode.
That was never going to make my list.
Why? You fucking prick.
Of all the films that came out in the last 20 years, no.
And number 10 is it's technically a short, so I don't know if it should be on my list, but it is anyway. Kung Fury.
Oh, nice.
Oh, is that
The 80s.
I've not seen it. When you say it's a
amazing.
short, how long is it?
Maybe, about half an hour-ish.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me to watch it when we worked together, and I never got round to it. But
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
is it good then?
It's really good.
What's it
It's
about?
got David Hasselhoff in it.
It's ridiculous.
Right.
It's fully ridiculous. There's a policeman in it who's half dinosaur and is called Triceracop.
Right, okay. I'm not surprised.
But it's like everything that you love about the 80s. It was made
How many times
in...
have werewolves come up in your 10 so far? 3?
One.
Ginger Snaps, Hotel Transylvania, and Ginger Snap. Dog Soldiers.
So 3 werewolves and 4 relating to dogs.
And 1 Triceracop.
1 Triceracop.
And B-Rad.
But he is Kung Fury is a policeman that is also a kung fu master, and he has to travel back in time to defeat Kung Fuhrer. Who's Hitler?
Right. But Hitler knows kung fu.
Yeah, and Triceracop just shoots people's dicks off all the time.
Right, well, don't give it away too much.
The best thing about Kung Fury is at least the short that managed to get him funded for a 30-minute one. It was all made by this one guy with a very small room, like a very small...
I'm glad you said room.
He had a micro penis. And it's an amazing achievement.
Oh, I can live the dream too.
No, like, if you look at how he made it, it is truly inspiring, the amount of stuff. He's got a fair background in VFX work, so that's helped him. But generally, it's just massively impressive even for a short. Just,
Oh, I'll have to watch
Take that.
Cham.
Just burped down the microphone.
Take that.
Take that, Cham.
Well, I was like, I'll have to watch it.
Fuck you, Cham!
You should have watched it how many years ago when I told you to watch
I
it?
know, sorry. How many films have I said to you to watch and you didn't watch any of them?
Probably because...
We watched Hereditary.
Yeah, we watched Hereditary. So yeah, that's number 10 is Kung Fury, 2015.
Right,
Masterpiece.
Masterpiece. It might be.
That's I'm in agreement with that one. So should I go?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna try and mark these off so I don't just say the same film over and over.
When you were going for a piss, I was like, why didn't you just write the rest out in a list now? And he's like, no. Well, what the fuck?
Stop trying to control me, Cham. So my next one is Arrival. And
yeah.
Obviously,
Wonderful.
time manipulation. It looks beautiful. It's like I think that was Bradford Young who did the cinematography on that, and it's just amazing. Absolutely, I love everything about that film. The way they focus it on story, the way they manage to do reveals. That it doesn't feel like it's a setup. You're not watching it thinking, "Oh, there's gonna be this big thing." It's a very honest story, but it manages to just do something a bit unique with it. Every bit.
Denis Villeneuve is fucking great. He's definitely a modern hero.
There's a film that he did that isn't on my list. I don't want to say it in case it might be on someone.
I've not got any Villeneuve.
Then 2049. Blade Runner.
Yeah. I like the fact that you didn't wait for Katty to search it.
This shit that's on your list so far, it's not going to be on there.
You've got Hotel Transylvania. It's unlikely you're going to have.
I will take my shoe off and hit you with it.
Have you even seen Blade Runner 2049? No.
I thought you'd like Blade Runner.
I've seen the first Blade Runner.
Yeah. Do you like that?
Yeah.
And you didn't want to? Not bothered yet?
Yeah.
So you didn't have that though. You had Arrival. Arrival's so good.
Yeah, Arrival is better. As much as I love 2049, this is just so much better done. Really.
Great choice.
But I think 2049 maybe looks a bit better. But it's got more to work with to look better, so it's kind of more impressive.
Is that Deakins?
Yeah, but it's kind of impressive how Arrival looks so good based on the concept of So the next one is, of course, Brick. I've mentioned it multiple times. Ryan Johnson.
Still not seen it.
I've seen one of the films that you've reeled off so far.
Which one's the one?
Donnie Darko.
This is I've been talking about this one for ages, so I've been recommending it.
After Greasy Strangler, I am not watching anything that you recommend.
I said I hated Greasy Strangler
and fucking FX.
I recommended it because it seems like what you guys would like.
I did like it.
I can't see the word paprika anymore.
Brick is just another detective, a noir, modern noir, and it's amazing. So I won't say anything more on that.
It's Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
It's probably if I were to put these in order, that may be my top.
That was the one. I knew you'd have that in your list, and I've still not seen it. That's bad. I'm a bad friend.
And
I need to watch that and Hotel Transylvania.
Kung Fury, dickhead.
Oh God, yeah.
And I think a lot in the way how I've sort of categorized this in my head is this feels in the same vein as Garden State, weirdly enough, even though they're quite massively different films. Into the Wild.
Oh, is it Judd Hirsch?
Emil Hirsch.
Emil Hirsch.
Yeah, Emil Hirsch. The one based on a true story about a guy who gave up like his family's money and stuff like that and just wanted to travel.
How do you talk about this film without spoilers?
It goes into it wild.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just a personal journey film.
It sounds like
Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah.
What's Eat, Pray, Love?
That Julia Roberts film where she goes to discover herself.
Is that... does she masturbate? Is that... No, I've never seen that film.
No, she basically goes on an adult gap year.
Yeah. That's a better title.
I don't. Yeah, it's. I guess you could describe it as an adult gap year, but it's.
Because doesn't he give up his university like savings or something to just buy a camper van and fuck off?
Yeah,
I would.
Yeah.
It's like, go learn some more shit, or here's a camper van and go travel.
But he just
learn some life skills
along the way as well. He meets people who are like happy to like take him in, and he seems to get on well with them. But he still says
murderers.
He still says like no, well maybe, but it's not that type of film. He just doesn't seem interested.
Human traffickers
staying connected to any one person for too long. Sort
of. So it's basically your story.
No,
you are basically that guy.
No, because he still wants to talk to them.
Oh yeah.
And it's society who outcast me.
Yeah, you just want to murder them.
But yeah, again, another film that I'd watch over, and it's probably got one of the best soundtracks ever. It's by Eddie Vedder.
I hate fucking Eddie Vedder.
What?
But I hate his voice.
Why?
Because it's whiny like a little bitch.
Sound a little bit like Eddie Vedder right now.
Yeah, I'm having to put up with that.
If anything, I'd just recommend anyone listening to that soundtrack alone. You don't even need to see the
Does
film.
he sing on it?
Yeah. Of course he sings on it.
No, I'm not. Well, it's a soundtrack. He might have just done music.
With his mouth.
No, but he might have played guitar and just... Or like
hummed.
Atticus Ross or whatever and thingy for Social Network from 9 Inch Nails. What's his name?
Oh, fuck.
Trent Reznor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't sing on that, did he? Trent Reznor. Social Network was the one that was 21 that didn't make it in on then.
I'm glad.
Yeah, Social Network was in my big list, but it didn't make it in.
You've just deleted Facebook.
It doesn't mean it's a good story, Social Network. And then my final one is Memento.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, I mean, a guy who only
remembers... It didn't click with me.
I've not seen it.
Fucking hell. It's about a guy who loses his long-term memory.
Is it more time travel shit?
No,
I have seen Memento.
Yeah,
because he writes stuff down all the time, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, the whole concept of tattooing for yourself, I know it's for his memory, but the idea of tattooing for yourself is just something that especially then, and even still now, is quite alien because people still get tattoos and it's outward facing. So while it is for you, it's not really for you to look at unless you're doing it through a mirror. And I still like that idea and everything about how that story was constructed, and it keeps it fresh every time, the way it all plays out. And I think I saw Nolan describing how he did the story, and he essentially did like a big horseshoe, a big U, and he said like these are two things, so two parallel storylines that are happening, like one in the future, one in the past, and they meet at this one point, and that's the crux of the film. And it's that's it.
I remember watching it and thinking that was good, but like everyone raved about it, and I was like, it's not that good. But I've not watched it since it first came out, so worth a revisit.
I haven't watched it for about 3 years, but I still watch it regularly. I like it, yeah, so I'd recommend it. But
I've watched it once.
It's weird seeing
about 3 years ago.
Guy Pearce with the short, blonde, spiky hair.
I'm not a fan of Guy Pearce.
I'm trying to think where I know him from.
Prometheus is the old man.
Let's not talk about Prometheus.
Right, we are.
That's my 10.
You're rattling on, aren't we? We're near an hour, so I'm gonna go through my 5 quickly. Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yes.
Love Wes Anderson. Was really close to putting Royal Tenenbaums in, but I just fucking love Grand Budapest Hotel. It's so funny. And to say that came out in 2014, I'd say it's probably the funniest film of the last 10 years.
Really? I've still never seen Grand Budapest.
Oh, what?
I love Wes Anderson. I don't think I have any Wes on my list.
Oh, do you not? And you've not seen Grand Budapest?
No.
Oh,
watch it.
Great.
It's so good.
Yeah, it is. Next one's The Witch. Love The Witch.
Black Phillip.
Yeah, I love Black Phillip. There's something about it that's not quite perfect, and I still haven't put my finger on it. But I feel like The Witch is the kind of film that if someone gave me some money and said, go and make a film, I'd want to make that. And even though I know it's flawed, it's just got like everything that I kind of like.
Goats.
Yeah. No, but I quite like a period film. I quite like witches and fantasy, but taken seriously. It's scary. Someone gets their tit pecked on by a bird. Baby gets mushed in a pestle and mortar in the first 10 minutes. That's always good.
I know I need to watch this since you first recommended it. I just haven't got
have you not seen it? No, sorry.
So
I ruined the tit.
If yeah, I'm fine. But if I ask when you said it's got flaws, would it ruin it for me okay.
No, I just think it's
there's just something a bit off about it, but it's not off enough to put you off watching it. Okay. It's like afterwards you think there's something there or something not there, but I don't know which one it is.
Yeah. And I don't mean like there's something in the story. I just mean something about either the way it's been put together or I'm like, it should be my like perfect film, but there's something that it's quite hard to understand as well. He's gone for like an ye old American, but like kind of a bit British.
Yeah, they've got weird accents
because they've just come over from England. But it's hard to understand, and there's a bit of a separation. But I do love it. Next one,
I know I need to watch.
There's a goat called Black Phillip.
Yeah, and he's ace. The next one is The Fountain by Darren Aronofsky. Love The Fountain. That's
on my list?
Oh, is it?
I love The Fountain.
It's absolutely one of my favorite films. And yet every time someone says like, what's it about? And I'm like, well, I remember hearing a podcast where he said it's basically a love story told over 3 different time periods. And when I say that to people, they're like, that sounds shit. Like, well, yeah,
it does sound dog wank.
It's what's it? It's built around like a more existential view of love. It's meant to be somewhat detached and trying to depict love as sort of a greater thread running through like the universe, I guess. Yeah.
So it starts off with him. Well, it's not starts with, but there's a story of him when he's like a conquistador and Rachel Weisz is like a queen of Spain or something. He's trying to find something that will, it's either end the war or give eternal life. And then there's a story of him in modern day and she's dying and he's trying to save her through some kind of bark or something. And then there's one where he's just in a bubble, basically, with the tree of life flying through space at the end of all existence. And he's just like talking to a tree and reliving past memories. You're
not selling this to me at all.
Like, this is a problem. And like when people talk about it, and if they're like, it's shit, I'm like, yeah, I get that. But it isn't. And it looks stunning. And all the stuff in space was all shot in like petri dishes, or petri dishes, however you pronounce it, of like reactions of two, say, like fluids. And then they shot it like ultra close to make it look like space.
I think that was one of the early, I don't know, there might be an early example, but that kind of kicked up, because that's what a lot of people still do now. Even like low budget sci-fi people, if you want to like do a space scene, but you have like a nebula in it, you'll have these like fluids shot on a macro lens, and it's one of the earlier examples I can think of that did that and sort of pioneered that as a way of having a weird practical special effect that you wouldn't normally think is a special effect.
But it looks stunning, and the soundtrack by Clint Mansell is fucking incredible.
I was just trying to look who was the cinematographer, and it was Matthew Libet. I don't know.
Oh, never heard of him.
No, I've not.
And then I'll rattle through my last two. Number 12, Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Just loved it, and it really like made me feel nostalgic for Star Wars. And then it kind of went a bit downhill after
that. As if you put Force Awakens above The Last Jedi.
Of course I did. Last Jedi is my worst out of the 3 of them.
No, worst out of the 3 of them? Yeah. Including the new one?
Yeah.
We are not
and then number 11, if it's in a
number
word...
Number 11?
Yeah. Aren't we going to 11? Then we're doing the 10.
Oh, I thought we did...
Oh, I've just gone to 10.
I think I only did 10.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I've done from 20 down to 11.
Oh, okay.
So then that leaves me 10 left.
Okay.
So my number 11 is if it's in a word or if it's in a look, you can't get rid of the Babadook.
Oh.
Fucking love the Babadook. Could be seen as a straight up monster film or whatever. Could be seen as
I
a
enjoyed
take
it.
on depression and anxiety. Sadly, I think it's my only female director in the whole of my list. But there's definitely a theme going through mine. Horror, psychological thriller, fantasy.
I've never seen Babadook.
You've not seen the Babadook?
No.
Oh, it's really good. It's really good.
This is why I'm friends with you guys. You're meant to introduce me to these things.
And it's got really good like practical effects and like a stop motion effect that really gives it a jarring, like uncanny creepiness.
It's good.
Like the first Terminator when he's walking through the fire, the sort of
that
always freaked me out. The stop motion of that.
Well, shall we call it for this episode?
Yeah.
Do you want to quickly round through the ones that you've gone through so far, Katty?
Isle Dogs, Ginger Snaps, Hotel Transylvania, fuck you both. Tusk, Machete, 28 Days Later, Malibu's Most Wanted, Godzilla King of Monsters, Dog Soldiers, Kung Fury.
Nice.
And Hobo.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Donnie Darko, Arrival, Get Out, Garden State, Spotlight, Stay, Brick, Into the Wild, Memento.
Right, and mine are Donnie Darko, Paddington 2, Dead Man's Shoes, Get Out, The Village, Grand Budapest Hotel, The Witch, The Fountain, Star Wars Force Awakens, and The Babadook. Until next time, see you later.
Toodle pip.
Bye.
If you like the Spoilt Milk podcast, get your lazy ass over to Instagram at Spoilt Milk Pod. Also, hit like and subscribe, you son of a bitch.